What's up, guys? I'm back with another video. Today we are going to be looking at this one. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button.
This is my story about how my teacher chased me. And because of this, I almost went crazy.
Yes.
A new physics teacher, Miss Greta, came to our school this year. She was a young woman who had just graduated from the teaching college. Everyone was happy. We were glad the teacher would be a person whom we have a rather small age gap. She understands teenagers' feelings and knows how to communicate with us on equal terms. And she was in love with physics, so it was very interesting to listen to the new topics. Of course, the grades of the entire class went higher at once. We even chose physics as a required elective. And on the weekend, our new teacher and us went to the cinema and museums. To spend time with her was educational and quite fun. I think if you have ever had a young teacher, then you'll understand what I mean. A couple of months after the school year started, the teacher's behavior seemed to me strange and intrusive, or something like that, and it was only her attitude towards me. My classmates didn't notice anything suspicious. She started to ask me lots of questions about my family, my hobbies, and my health. The latter baffled me. Do I really look kind of weak or unhealthy? After some time, I noticed that me and Miss Greta met each other in the street quite often, and every time in completely different areas. When meeting me, she always said, "Dolly, what a surprise! What are you doing here? How do you feel? Does anything hurt you?" Even my grandma isn't so worried about my health. Something was wrong here. I became afraid of Miss Greta, so I tried to avoid her in every possible way. And if at school I could do it at least a little, then outside school I became her obsession. It seemed to me she was everywhere. I became nervous, suspicious, and worried. And the thing was, I had no one to share my problem with. The teacher had an excellent reputation at school, and my parents would just laugh at me, saying that, for example, they saw our neighbor every day, but it didn't mean he was watching them. Over time, I realized my suspicions weren't nothing. The teacher's car often stood in front of my house when I looked out of the window. And when I left school, she walked 100 meters behind me every time. That is, her chasing me became so obvious, I had no doubt everything happening to me wasn't a coincidence. But what did she want from me? I had no idea. But I was scared. For myself, for my life and health, which she was especially concerned with. Or was this young woman crazy, and did she plan to do something bad to me? I decided to gather evidence that the physics teacher was chasing me. A week later, I had hundreds of photos and videos confirming my fears, and the recordings where she asked me about my health. Now I could prove the teacher literally followed me everywhere. To put it mildly, she was really intrusive towards me. Maybe at first I could at least come up to her with compromising evidence and directly ask about her intentions. But I was afraid she might stop chasing me and do something bad right away, and then I would have trouble for sure. So I decided to go to my parents and ask them for help. We were really close, and who, if not them, would protect me? I was afraid to hurt Mom, so first I showed all the materials to Dad. He said the situation was serious and we would have to tell Mom, and then we would all go to the police together. When I saw my mom's reaction, I felt uneasy. She cried, telling Dad to protect me and start doing at least something. I understood her. Maybe it's very scary when your kid's in real danger. Our whole family went to the police at once. Everyone was worried, and it turned out not in vain. On the way to the station, we saw the teacher's car following us. Mom started to get hysterical. Dad told her to calm down and not to shout, or we would get into an accident. And I started
Go check
filming
out
her
the
on yet
one where I'm
another
playing
chase on my phone.
Zombie
To lose her, we
Rush.
decided to ride around the city and not go
I'm
straight
doing
to
a
the
video
police.
about that now.
But we were lucky, and after a while, she lagged behind us. But she called me and asked about my health and plans for the evening. I tried to stay calm, saying everything was fine with me and I had a free evening. Then she offered to meet. At felt my voice begin to tremble, so I promised to call back later and hung up. By that time, we had just arrived at the police station. We rushed in. After some time, the investigator interrogated us. I showed all the collected photos and videos and turned on the recording of the last conversation with my teacher. When the police identified her, they told us terrifying news. Even my impenetrable dad started to shiver. It turned out she was registered in a psychiatric clinic, but then for some reason her personal record was lost, so they forgot about her. The investigator said they needed to get her into a trap, so he offered to make an appointment with her at our place. He would send a special squad there. We had no choice. We went home with the police, and along the way, I called Miss Greta and told her everything the investigator advised me to. She agreed to come, and I promised her my parents wouldn't be home. They put me in some kind of protection, like body armor, but much thinner. When I asked what it was for, they told me I needed to be ready for anything, especially since we were dealing with a mentally ill person. Mom cried. She hugged me tightly and gave me her coin talisman. And then the doctors gave her some pills. She calmed down. They needed it because Mom could ruin the operation. At the appointed time, there was my teacher's car parked on the road, and I started to wait for her with a sinking heart. A few minutes later, she rang the doorbell. There was a pie in her hands. A moment later, one policeman knocked me down, covering me with his body, while the others threw the teacher down on the floor. They handcuffed her at once. The apple pie fell onto the floor. Its crumbles flew right into my face. I think at this moment, everyone felt relieved. And then interrogations began. Miss Greta said I was her daughter, and no one had the right to separate us. Frankly, I even thought I could have been adopted, but then I came to my senses and realized a mentally ill person was saying this. Our age difference is only 8 years. It's nonsense, not otherwise. Miss Greta was sent for a compulsory treatment. Some of my classmates got angry at me that I deprived them of a cool teacher, and her mother came to us. She excused her daughter and said that before, Miss Greta was a normal, healthy girl, an A student. But after entering the college, she was told that she was sterile and she kinda lost it. Anyway, she couldn't stand it and started to rave about having a kid. But she set a goal to finish college and become a teacher at all costs. She graduated, got a job at a school, and then, well, you know the rest.
No.
After her mom's confession,
Okay,
I
no.
even felt sorry for her. By the way, since then, I hate apple pies. Have you had any fights with teachers? How do your teachers feel about you? You can write your answers in the comments below this video. And don't forget to like my story and subscribe to the channel.
Shut up.
Hondros College of Nursing presents.
I do
So,
feel
you
like
want to be a
it.
nurse. Awesome. On your mark, get set, and sit on a wait list for you. Or go with Hondros College of Nursing, where there are no wait lists or
Yeah,
unnecessary
come
classes
on.
like Geology 101. You can even start classes at 4 different times of the year, so you don't have to wait to get on a path to your dreams. But the best part is our focused approach to nursing school. We call it Learn and Earn, and it's designed to jumpstart your career. Here's how it works. After you complete a level of nursing education and obtain your license, you can either
From time to time, we learn some amazing stories about real people from TV screens or from newspaper headlines. We can believe them or not. And maybe we even try to do something like it ourselves. My name's Brian. I'm 16, and recently my face appeared on the front pages of many newspapers, and even on the